Hey guys, it's LPP here, and tonight what I'm going to do is show you a quick video on how I cut keys to code using space and depth keys. Yesterday evening I came in from work. Somebody at work needed me to cut a key to code. They didn't have they only had one change key, or which is the key that you use to unlock the lock normally. They only had the one key, and I wouldn't be back in time in order for them to be able to use it in the morning. So anyway, I decoded the key using my little key gauge that I keep in my bag, and wrote down the code. Came home. I actually did a video on it, but then I realized that I had the code for the actual key in use, and that just wasn't going to fly. So what I'm going to do is show a example of how I cut that key, not using that original code, obviously, because we don't want to give away any government secrets. So anyway, tonight we're going to cut an SC1 here on the duplicator. I don't have a code machine, so we're going to cut this using space and depth codes, or space and depth keys to this code right here. So let me get the camera set up and we'll get started. Alright guys, so we've got our setup here. Sorry about the funny camera angle. This is the only way I could get it. When I made the video last night, I actually used a little tabletop tripod right here. I had the machine back further where y'all last saw it, and the vibrations from the duplicator actually just really kind of, it wasn't enough to mess up the video, but it was enough to get on my nerves. So anyway, we're going to make do with this, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to cut this blank to this code 44598. And basically what I do is I'll start with the shallowest depth first, which I have a 3 laid out there, 4, and what I'll do is I'll put this in, put the space and depth key in the original, make sure it's lined up correctly, stopped, level, and then I'll tighten down the jaw, and then I will run the whole series of cuts across the blank. Now, of course, the first 2 cuts are 4, so we've already got those knocked out of the way. The big thing with cutting keys to code using space and depth keys is the little angles between the cuts and how to get those nice and neat so that they work smoothly in the lock. So what I do is I step down, and it happens with this code that I've picked out that the next shallowest cut is 5, and it actually happens in the 3rd position. So everything from 3, 4, and 5 positions on the key are actually going to be either 5 or deeper. So that does help when you have sort of an up and down pattern in the key, like where you go from 4, 5, 7, 9, 2. That can make things kind of complicated, difficult to cut this way. And the duplicators have just a bevel on just one side, or at least mine does. Has just a bevel on the one side of the cutting wheel. So that's what keeps you from just plunging straight down and making perfect cuts to that depth. I don't know if there's a different cutting wheel you could use on this. I asked this question over on Twitter a while back. Asked Rubber Band kind of how he would do it, and if he would mount a wheel that had that 100-degree angle, which is, I think, sort of the standard angle for Kwikset and Schlage on the HPC Blitz 1200. But he said he wouldn't do that unless if he absolutely had to. Said that he was going to make a video, never did, which I completely understand and don't blame him at all for. So anyway, I'm going to come in and make, using the number 5 key, I'll go ahead and make these last 3 cuts to the number 5 depth. Alright, now there is some freehanding involved when doing it this way, so you have to be careful about those angles, and the way that I like to do it to get those angles, you know, cut really nicely is to go ahead and step down. We don't have any number 6 depths in our code, but I'm going to use the number 6 key to go ahead and take down these last 2 positions. That way it'll step nicely and function well in the lock. I kind of free-handed over the peak between position 3 and 4, and if I need to go back and touch that up with a file, I will. I'll do the same thing with 7. Again, making sure everything's lined up. And then 8 is our next deepest cut. And that is on the 5th position of the key that we're cutting. But I'll go ahead and make the 4th position that depth as well, just again to keep those angles straight. So now the last one that we have is the number 9 depth in position 4. Again, make sure everything's lined up. And then look at this, how we have it now. I can get the camera to focus. There we go, a little bit of light always helps. Still a little rough, I gotta brush it off, but hopefully you guys can see. Trying to get it where the shadows aren't there. You guys can see those cuts. So now we'll go ahead and brush it off. Looks pretty good to me. I don't know if these 2 peaks up here maybe need to come down a bit, but anyway, that's how I cut keys to code using a duplicator and space and depth keys. Please, 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 I'm asking, begging for advice on this. I know Bosnia and Bill did a video a long time ago about doing this. Watched it a few times. Yeah. But, you know, if any of y'all professional locksmiths out there have any advice, then I would greatly appreciate it. And I'm sure others in the log sport community would as well, because I know of a number of other people who have duplicators just for making keys for challenge locks and because they're useful. So anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in. Please leave any questions and comments below. If you don't mind, please hit that thumbs up button and stay out of trouble. We'll see you next time.